F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, was born on May 29, 1917, and died on November 22, 1963, at around 12:31 p.m.
Kennedy was killed by Lee Harvey Oswald. Oswald was an assassin who killed Kennedy with a rifle. No one knows why Oswald killed Kennedy, but there are many conspiracy theories.
But before Oswald testified for the police, he was killed by Jack Ruby, a man that lived less than a mile away. No one knows what Ruby's motive was either.
Governor Jack Connolly was also in the car with Kennedy. He was wounded by a bullet. The Warren Commission was a comprehensive report given out by the government about what happened on the shooting, where they stated Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone.
Fidel Castro was a Cuban dictator who came into power by overthrowing the U.S.-backed dictatorship of Batista in 1959 during the Cuban Revolution. Many people have conspired theories that Fidel Castro was linked to the assassination of JFK.
The Bay of Pigs invasion was an unsuccessful attempt by a CIA-trained force of Cuban exiles to invade southern Cuba with support from U.S. government armed forces to overthrow the Cuban government of Fidel Castro. The plan failed, but when Castro found out, many speculated that there would be long-lasting resentment from Castro towards the American government.
In 1961, John Kennedy inherited the invasion plans from Eisenhower. He allowed it to go ahead, but vetoed the use of U.S. combat forces. As preliminary acts leading to the invasion, saboteurs burned thousands of acres of sugarcane, and the La Coubre, a Belgian freighter carrying arms, was blown up at a Havana dock. A second bomb was timed to explode as volunteers reached the burning ship to help the victims. Over 100 people were killed and hundreds more wounded. Moreover, exiled Cuban pilots flying American planes painted with Cuban insignia bombed 2 airports, killing a number of civilians.
Resentment was left over from the invasion on Castro's part. People linked Kennedy's assassination to Castro because of the lasting resentment from the Bay of Pigs invasion. Though no evidence could be found linking the shooter, Lee Harvey Oswald, to Castro, Castro is still a suspect. There was no evidence of Oswald's motives, which made Castro's supposed ambition to assassinate Kennedy a possibility.
Also, Castro had a previous malpropensity towards America. This, and the fact of the constant U.S.-Cuban tensions, made Castro a prime suspect in the assassination. Because the Bay of Pigs invasion was an attempt to invade Cuba with armed forces, Castro might have wanted to respond with arms directly to the American president. Though nothing could be proved, there are many events linking Fidel Castro to the death of John F. Kennedy.
The CIA, or the Central Intelligence Agency, is also thought to be linked to the death of Kennedy. First, the choice of route for Kennedy's drive was controversial. Kennedy and his wife were going in a car past the Dealey Plaza, but many now speculate that he was not aware of the danger ahead. Kennedy was made vulnerable to shooters all around him with no formal CIA or extra security protection. This may have been because they wanted to expose Kennedy to the shooter, Oswald. Additionally, Oswald's position as a shooter was controversial as well. Oswald shot Kennedy almost directly in front with no real struggle to aim. Many people thought that the CIA wanted to make it easy for Oswald to see and shoot Kennedy from his hotel window.
Did you kill the president?
The second explosive revelation in the sealed documents also links the CIA directly to Oswald. While living in Dallas, Oswald was befriended by Russian-born George de Mohrenschildt. Investigators determined he was a contract agent for the CIA in Central America and the Caribbean. In 1977, moments before he was to be interviewed by House investigators, de Mohrenschildt blew his brains out with a 20-gauge shotgun. House investigators believe he was a crucial link between the CIA and Lee Harvey Oswald.
The most probable story is that the CIA decided to assassinate Kennedy for one of the 3 reasons. One, that he gave away Cuba, a country in which the agency had worked so hard to be personally involved with. 2. To prevent him from doing the same with Vietnam. Or 3. As a response to Kennedy's firings that he had ordered in the Bay of Pigs aftermath, starting with the CIA director, Allen Dulles, who also had served on the Warren Commission. The CIA theory, unlike the others, has a satisfying explanation for the Warren Commission's inadequate information. First, the interconnected government agencies which supplied the Commission with most of its information were in a good position to mislead their bosses and to destroy evidence and witnesses. Second, even if the bosses learned of the agency's involvement, they would hide it from the public for fear that the reaction might cast down the political business elite from which they came. Finally, LBJ, Earl Warren, and the whole military-industrial complex could have been in on the secret from the beginning.
The President's Commission on the Assassination of President Kennedy, known unofficially as the Warren Commission, was established on November 29, 1963 by Lyndon B. Johnson to investigate the assassination of United States President John F. Kennedy on November 22, 1963. Its 888-page final report was presented to President Johnson on September 24, 1964, and made public 3 days later. It concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone and unaided in the killing of Kennedy and the wounding of Texas Governor John Connally. The Commission's findings have since proven controversial and have been both challenged and supported by later studies.
It is 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The findings of the Warren Commission on the assassination of President John F. Kennedy may now be disclosed to the public. Chapter 1 begins. The assassination of John Fitzgerald Kennedy on November 22, 1963, was a cruel and shocking act of violence directed against a man, a family, a nation, and against all mankind. In 300,000 words of lean and orderly language, the Warren Commission makes these major findings. Lee Harvey Oswald assassinated President Kennedy. He did it alone. He was not a part of any conspiracy, either domestic or foreign. In arriving at its findings, the Commission sharply criticizes the Secret Service, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Dallas Police Department, and members of the press, radio, and television.
The single bullet theory was introduced by the Warren Commission to explain how 3 shots fired by Lee Harvey Oswald resulted in the assassination of John F. Kennedy. The theory presents that a single bullet caused all of the non-fatal wounds in both President Kennedy and Texas Governor John Connally. According to this theory, a 3-centimeter-long copper-jacketed lead-core 6.5mm rifle bullet fired from the 6th floor of the Texas Schoolbook Depository passed through Kennedy's neck and Connally's chest and wrist and into the governor's thigh. If so, this bullet traveled through 15 layers of clothing, 7 layers of skin, and approximately 15 inches of tissue, struck a necktie knot, removed 4 inches of rib, and shattered a radius bone. In conclusion, the Warren Commission found persuasive evidence from the experts that a single bullet caused the president's neck wound and all the wounds in Governor Connally. It stated that all members had no doubt that all shots were fired from the 6th floor window of the depository building.
Do you want a man for president who's seasoned through and through, but not so doggone seasoned that he won't try something new? A man who's old enough to know
and young enough to do.
Well, it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you.
Do you like a man who answers straight, a man who's always fair?
We'll measure him against the others, and when you compare, you cast your vote for Kennedy and a change that's overdue. So it's